Good evening, everybody. This is the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission. Today's April 22nd, 2026. Thomas, Richard Boucher, Jay Fain, Peter Salvatore Salvo, and Diane Saunders are here. Can we all stand, please? And pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. I will appoint Diane, I guess, and Saul as alternates for tonight. I'm sorry, not Saul, Sal. Sal. Yeah, I use that time. Starbucks cup. The approval of the draft meeting minutes, Conservation Commission meeting of March 18th, 2026. Do any commissioners have any corrections or comments? Otherwise, a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Rick, anybody second?
Second.
And Diane seconds, all in favor? Aye. Okay, very good. Okay, new business. Number one is the permit application for activity on town open space, Osprey monitoring by Connecticut Audubon at Oldfield Road, North Marsh. So we have that in our packet. I'm not sure if anybody's here on that. Tim, would you like to give a little something on that?
Somebody's here.
Yeah, thank you. That is in your packet, and I would like to invite Matt Joyce, who's on the call, to speak on that.
Yep, I just saw him. Thanks. Hi, Matt.
Hi there, everybody. I do have a PowerPoint if I can share my screen, but at the same time, I'm happy to just speak if that would be simpler for all involved.
You can just speak for now, and if commissioners have any questions, you can bring it up then. But I think we read through, at least I have read through it and kind of understand the concept. So just kind of a summary would be great.
Sure thing. So yeah, I'm the Conservation Science Manager for Connecticut Audubon Society. I understand this is a conservation commission, so I'm sure we're all fairly familiar with osprey ecology. But just to give you sort of rundown of research that's been happening in other regions along the Atlantic coast, specifically the Chesapeake Bay and the New Jersey area. Some of our new collaborators that we've been liaising with have seen some pretty dramatic drop-offs in productivity with, osprey pairs over the last couple of seasons producing something like, I think like 0.25 to 0.5 chicks per pair to have a sustainable population need at least one chick per pair fledging from the nests. A lot of this has been tied to the scarcity of bait fish called menhaden. This has been attributed to some of the fisheries off those shores. New Jersey as well hasn't done as formal a study as done by Chesapeake Bay, but some of their nest checks that they've done over recent seasons have shown a lot of chicks that have been dead in the nest that have clearly starved. So Chesapeake Bay have used a number of different methods to kind of ascertain all of this. They've used prey supplementation in some cases. So they've actually been delivering menhaden to some of the nests and comparing the relative breeding success to some of the control nests. And one other thing that they've done, which has been really cool, is use remote cameras. They've attached these remote cameras to osprey nest platforms. They take a picture roughly every 5 minutes. And then using the images collected, they're able to do image analysis that allows them to ascertain the species of fish that are being delivered to the nest, the size, and then there's online databases that you can then use to work out the caloric content that's being delivered to those nests. Our own osprey monitoring project, which we've been running for about 12 years, which is Osprey Nation, shows that our population's relatively stable. We did have a bit of a dip in the number of fledglings last year. That's probably a natural oscillation. We also may be attributable to just us having a bumper year in 2024. But we want to get an early warning system in place should we, encounter the same problems that are being seen further down in the southern areas of the country. So we're proposing to attach 15 remote cellular trail cameras to some of the Osprey platforms across the state. These are cellular trail cameras, so we only have to attach them. We can view all the pictures that are being taken through web-based apps. They're solar powered, so we don't need to replace batteries. We can manage the SD cards. So it's a one-time attachment, and then we remove it at the end of the season, obviously. And then we're going to have interns sort through those images and ascertain which pictures have got fish in, which don't, and then run image analysis in the same way that the team in the Chesapeake Bay area did. And fingers crossed, we have, a burgeoning osprey population and have many fledglings this year. But we've been talking with CT Deep about this project, who are, interested to see the results and make sure that we have that early warning system in place. And so the reason that I'm telling all you guys this is that there is a site that we've selected. We did a random site selection. One of these is in the town of Fairfield on Oldfield Marsh open space. So we're just seeking property owner permission to access that nest and attach that camera. If there's any questions at all, happy to field them.
Appreciate that. Any questions? Yes.
I have a question. Great initiative, Salva. I was wondering, so although the purpose of this, it's a study, is there any sense of sharing is there a live feed from the camera, or is there a way to use this also to communicate to the population in town about the osprey population?
I mean, so like say through Osprey Nation gives us a good idea of trends across the entire state. We have 400 volunteers last year. I think we're set to have more volunteers this year. And we monitored something like 700 nests. So we have a pretty good view of what's happening across the entire state. If the town of Fairfield would like kind of a subset of that data where we can kind of tell people about how osprey in Fairfield are doing, we can absolutely do that. And then as far as the remote cameras go, we have a camera set up at Milford Point, for example, but it's a wired-in camera. It transmits through Wi-Fi into a Wi-Fi bridge that's in the Milford Point Coastal Center so that we can view that live. Me and my colleagues through the web-based app will be able to sort of view each camera live, but it's not something that we'd be able to say put like on a web-based interface. But we are more than happy to like share pictures. We can like select to take some of the pictures and download them as HD, or get video for you as well. So if you want some materials from the cameras, that's something we can always arrange.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Yes.
We live on the Mill River, all three of us here.
Oh, okay.
We have eagles. There's eagles, that are up and down the Mill River by the mill if you go north on the river.
Yeah.
And can you hear me up there?
I can, yeah.
Okay. And what's important to me is I would say I've been there 15 years, but I've been a Fairfield Westport resident for most of my life, and I'm 70. And we have unusual amount of eagles, which is great. And they have a couple of nests. They will let the osprey hunt. When they grab the fish, now the osprey have learned to scare off the eagle, because the eagle will go to the fish, the osprey that caught the fish, and just scare it, and then they drop it.
Yeah.
Now they're doing group eating. So now there's 6 or 8 ospreys I've noticed the past week. And if the eagle comes, the other ones will come in and protect the young or let them hunt. But the biggest problem we have with osprey are the cormorant. The cormorant is a Chinese bird and Japanese, Pacific bird. It is voracious eater. It can eat 100 fish a day. And you use it for fishing if you're a Japanese fisherman. You literally put a bolt around his neck, a little brass bolt, and you let him go down and he picks the fish up. When he comes up in the bucket, you shake the fish, and throw them back in. He will hunt up to 100 a day.
Okay.
Fill a bucket.
Appreciate
They
it.
have wiped out the fish. That's all they eat.
Yeah.
So the fish that were in our area are from brackish water, from the mill up several hundred yards or half a mile, and it meets fresh water. So it's brackish from my house, literally down and past their house. And the yellow perch, we're great there, but they're, small.
Okay.
End of the day is, I don't know how you deal with cormorants, but they're going all the way to Weston Reservoir.
Okay.
And if you want them to eat, they're out of fish.
Right. That's part of what they need to study. So that's great information. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an interesting kind of facet to it. The Menhaden situation in Chesapeake Bay, there's a huge industrial fishing industry. I'm not saying cormorants don't also play their part potentially, but there's a company called Omega that harvest Menhaden, and then they use it for like fertilizer or feed for fish farms. The Atlantic Fisheries Commission and all of the authorities have asked them to bring their quota down. I think it was by 20%. They already weren't able to hit that previous number, so it was kind of a moot, action in a way, an empty, meaningless action. I think there's probably multiple things that are happening down there. But that's an interesting thing. I hadn't really considered competition with cormorants, at least in our area. So, I'll chat with colleagues about that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other?
Just say this is consistent with our mission as a conservation commission. It's absolutely great. And, if you want, I'll make a motion now that we approve it.
Yeah, I think so. Motion and Sal seconds. All in favor? Aye. I will add though, if through Tim, might ask for some of that information, please, provide it, at your convenience when you can. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
The
it.
only thing I will add is that, I remember back in the 70s and 80s, we had no osprey. It was a rare bird, so made a huge comeback, but we need to keep the progress going.
And the eagles.
Well,
DDT killed the eagle.
they'll kill both of them, but I just remember, working at Audubon back in the 70s, when we saw osprey go back, it was an event.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's
You
nice.
guys are doing a good job.
Thank
God's happy.
Thanks, guys.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Good job.
you. Nice to meet you. All right, moving on
Nice to
to
meet
number 2. Thank you. New business number 2, permit application for activity at town open space. The Fairfield Country Day School trail race at Hoydens Hill Open Space. Please come on up. Name and you've been in front of us a couple of times, so welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Josh Devendonis. I'm an 8th and 9th grade science teacher at Fairfield Country Day School, and happy Earth Day. It's fitting to have a commission meeting for this group on today. So this is my 3rd time here requesting use of Hoydens Hill Open Space for a middle school cross-country meet. It would take place on Thursday, May 7th. The event time is 3:45 p.m. We'll have about 60 students there, probably showing up closer to around 3 o'clock, and the event will end around 4:30. In terms of impact on the space, I'll put cones, temporary signage, some flags, and then spray paint that will wash away with rain. We'll pick all of that up when we're done. We'll pack out all of our trash, so there should be no permanent impact on the space. My only real concern is the use of the police shooting range. I know we coordinated with them last time, but they were leaving and driving through the starting line essentially as we were kind of getting warmed up. And I know that's kind of beyond your purview in terms of when they use the space, but it's a little scary to hear the gunshots and, the vehicles were about to go running out there. Again, this is the 3rd time we'd be doing this, so we've kind of been around the block a little bit. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any of
The
them.
schedule for the practice could already be set. You ought to be able to get in touch with them to double check on the date, but
Okay.
that's set well in advance.
Sure, I'll take a look at that.
That I'm not familiar. I don't know. That's true.
Yeah,
That's good.
they sometimes lend it out to other
Other groups.
towns, but it doesn't happen
So I
Send
would,
notification because they have to notify the neighbors too.
Sure.
So if that's, I think you said May 4th,
Yeah.
I mean, that would already be no.
Okay.
But you did,
yeah, I would recommend calling the police department and speaking to somebody about the schedule, letting them know that you're gonna have an event there that's approved by the Conservation Commission. Assuming we're gonna approve it, I think we will. And
you're well versed on this, which I'm sorry, it's on a phone, but you know where I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
With he already spoke, he's got this down in terms of the marking. This is at, Grace Richardson, and it makes me crazy. It's years, this is gonna be here to the crack of doom. Somebody painted the arrow, you know, so I'm happy to see that you have that in mind.
I think you'll find the police extremely cooperative, so
They were last time when.
reach out to them.
And I appreciate that. Thank
They
you.
can manage that. Okay,
Do any commissioners have any questions?
Nope.
Yep.
I make a motion, we approve this.
Okay, Rick makes a motion
second.
and Jay seconds, all in favor? Aye, all around. Excellent. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Have another good
Have a
year.
great
Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
We're on to new business number 3, the need for portable toilets at Mohican Cascades. Tim, is that you or somebody here on that?
That one's me. So the town, at the request of the Board of Finance, to Public Works Director, who I spoke with last week, has been requested to go through some expenditures, one of them being portable toilets at not just open space, but also Parks and Rec and other facilities townwide. Currently, the town spends over almost $100,000 a year on toilet rentals. So as they audit that expense, they're going through the need and on a location by location basis. And this one came up. As you know, the department currently pays for and coordinates with the rental company for toilets at Perry's Mill Pond and Mill Hollow open spaces as it relates to our coordination with the Mill River Wetland Committee's activities with River Lab. This location in the Cascades is not paid for by the department, which is also part of the problem that multiple toilets, almost 100 toilets, porta potties are paid for by multiple departments in town hall. So I put this one on there because it came up in the discussion since on our open space, and it's interesting because it's roughly, like I said, $2,200 a year just for this toilet at this location. And the question came up, so I wanted to put it before the commission because, in my opinion, I think it's you're going for a walk in the woods. This is unlike other locations where you're a little closer to town and other facilities. And if I would also point out that in the main parking lot at Lake Mohegan, not only is there a comfort station or physical bathroom, but the same group also pays for a porta potty for when those facilities are closed. So is this really necessary at Cascades, which is questionable? And based on my experience, whenever I'm down there, it's a lot of not only hikers, but really a lot of contractors that go down there on their lunch break, in their company trucks and use it as a truck stop bathroom. So I don't know. Again, in my personal opinion, this is the woods. Be prepared. Go use the facilities before you go. But if you really had to go, could we save money and use the facility or the other toilet at the other parking lot? I know people don't like change, and if it was removed, my office phone will be on fire. But I'm putting the question to the commission here to have a discussion.
I'm fine with it remaining. You know, it's, people do use it. It's convenience. It probably saves people from going in the bushes and stuff like that. I know that area is pretty heavily visited and we're probably better safe than sorry, I think. That's my opinion.
Anybody else?
I think I would have said, take it away,
Yeah.
but I see your
Okay.
point, but that's just where I'm coming down.
How far
It's
is
in the money.
Yeah, how far
I mean-
is how far would be the distance to hike or walk from the Cascades to the main parking lot?
Walk to the lake,
Huh?
like to the lake.
I mean, the only way to get to the Cascades is by car.
Okay.
So, you know, if you drove there, you could drive to the other parking lot. It'd be a decent hike if you were,
Gotcha.
drove there and then walked
Mm.
to the other side. But, if my only concern is if that things get shaken up, that this financial burden would land on the department. And I would have to anticipate that if that was the case, but, yeah,
Cross that bridge when we come to it, when we come to it.
Is this the place where kids party at night as well?
Yeah.
So you then
They-
do you then if you don't, because to Jay's point, someone is gonna have to use a bathroom during the day or the night.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Lake Mohegan and especially the Cascades is our biggest, out of all our open spaces, the biggest problem area. For shenanigans and vandalism, as we've seen with our gate. You know, I think it encourages people because it is there that, like I said, with contractors or workers that are on their lunch break, know that it's there. I don't know. I think it's it does provide a service, obviously, but it also has some backlash and some baggage. So if it was up to me, I would remove it and deal with people having to deal with the change and redirect them to the other parking lot. But this you know, this is leaving this up to a commission decision.
Right. I mean, I
You
think
could put a sign that says additional the toilets are available at the other part.
Put a meter in it, put a quarter in everything.
No, but I know last year we had people that were like in the Cascades. There was a lot of damage done. I mean, if the toilet goes away and it reduces a little bit the damage, maybe it's worth it. For the
I don't see
inconvenience.
that people stop using that space. It's very popular. It's popular with the kids at night. It's popular with families. It's probably, you know, I was going there when I was in high school in the '70s.
Oh, I understand.
I don't think it's ever changed.
All the kids go there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna change, and you know, if they're gonna go to the bathroom, they'll use the porta potty, otherwise they're gonna go in the woods, and then you're gonna file piles, and so that's just my opinion.
No, I got you.
It could be tried for a season.
Yeah, can we try it for a
Try
year?
it for a season.
You know, I just, like I said,
Get it back.
There's not, they're not gonna go to the other place, so either if you move it, they're gonna go.
The everyday hikers will, but I think you're right about the people you're talking about, the
Yeah.
trouble,
Sure.
yeah.
Is it open at night?
No, the gate closes at 8 o'clock.
No, the gate's designed to close on a timer. So you're not, the open space regulations call for closure of open spaces an hour after sunset. So no one should
Why not?
be there at night.
Hopefully should
Once they're
give him, yeah. Sure, come on in and use the toilet anytime
In
you
the
want.
dark?
Yeah, I know.
I don't, I mean, are they really spending time tracking it down in the dark?
I don't know.
This is taking a turn for.
I know.
I'd rather talk about ospreys myself.
How about a motion?
It's a dirty subject.
Any motion one way or the other, and then we can see where it goes.
I'd make a motion that we reduce it, eliminate it for one season, 1 year,
All right,
see what happens.
I second.
second that. All in favor on that motion?
Aye.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it passes, and your nays?
No, I'll go. I don't, you know,
Oh, okay.
I just made my point. I'm not feeling strongly about it one way or another.
Was it
Diane, I
unanimous?
didn't see what were you abstaining or no? You were a no? So one no, everybody else is a yes. So it's being removed, Tim. Whoever you gotta tell.
Thank you. I'll relay that back to Public Works.
And Tim, that 2,200 stays in your budget?
Right now, it's coming out of a larger pot, I think, managed by Public Works's line.
He's also anticipating that it
I-
might get cut there and then we.
Yeah, I think if they split it up and said, since these are yours, that's yours.
Yeah,
This is
okay.
Parks and Rec, that they might end up assigning it to those departments.
Well, I think you're gonna need a $2,200 budget. Call screening for your phone's gonna blow up. Might work for you finding that money.
All right, well. That's the dirty business is now behind us. And number 4 is the request from Connecticut Association of Flood Managers. A field trip to showcase new tide gates at South Pine Creek Open Space for July 16, 2026.
This was a request I fielded from CAFM. I just wanted to put it before the commission. Not so much as a activity permit as we've seen tonight, but more informative or a verbal request. They're familiar with our project, the replacement project at the former railroad bridge tide gate location at South Pine Creek, and based on the size and scope of the replacement project, they would like to showcase it as what can happen when a project goes smooth and is effective for not only ecological health of tidal marshes, but also for flood control. So with the three new tide gates and sluices, they thought that this was a good location, and our own TPZ director is involved with this group. I think she was past president. So there'd be some engineering folks and planning and zoning and wetlands folks in attendance. So if that's approved by this commission, I can relay that message that that date works.
Is there a time frame involved or just whenever they show up?
I think they were looking at if 10 a.m. to noon or noon to 2, and they were going to do some additional hold their meeting at the fire training center, but the field trip would include the walking tour of the tide gates.
All right, well, cool. Commissioners, any questions?
Great.
Yeah, okay, well then, any motion to allow that to happen?
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Okay,
Welcome them.
Rick has a motion. Any second to that motion? Any second to that motion?
Second.
You got one down there?
Sal, seconds, all in favor? And that is all around. Alrighty then. All right, thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. It's good
Thank you.
stuff. Moving on to Roman numeral 6, old business. Number 1 is the natural resources inventory final draft. What do we got with that there, Tim?
With that, I did not print out. It's 132 pages, so I saved a few acres of trees. But I did provide the link in the PDF version on our agenda cloud if anyone's gotten to see it. This is the final draft as it stands, with some of the revisions, inclusion of the maps in the back as the appendix, and several photos throughout the document, mostly supplied from you commissioners that came to the office. And that's kind of a product ready for a vote of approval. If so, then we could go to publishing and issue it. So I don't know who's gotten to take a look at it. I think it came out, it was good as at the last draft in the last meeting. This final draft, it just only improves a great document, I think. It's very comprehensive, includes some recommendations in the conclusion section at the end. And I think for the first time that the town is going to have a document like this, it came out really well.
Yeah. That's great. I think all around, a lot
Yeah.
of good work went into it.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
Are we, Tim, are you saying that we're ready? I mean, I think we might be ready for a vote now. Is that, is there anything that? you
Yeah,
think-
it's a final draft at this point, unless, you know, any commissioners have any other changes or revisions to make, we could certainly do that. Or
Commissioners comfortable voting tonight? I know I've
It's
looked
fine.
at it.
It's a living document anyway. It's gonna change over time, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then let's bake it in. Anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve it as it is.
Okay, any second to that motion? Diane seconds it. All in favor? All right, good job.
Thank you, Tim.
Congratulations, Tim. Good job all around. That's
Thank you.
nice. First time really
Yeah.
for the town. All right, number 2 is on old business is 980 High Street Conservation Easement. Tim, I didn't see any email or anything from anybody today. Did you get anything?
I did not, but I did, I reached back out to Attorney Piers. His colleague Megan reached back out to me. We're having a call tomorrow about it, but I don't have anything to provide.
Word from the High Street folk?
I did also let Attorney Leclerc know that I hadn't received anything. He's at another meeting tonight in town hall anyway.
Court, right?
No, it's
Court?
Attorney Pyrus, the town attorney.
So, Tim, the applicant got back to you with their comments on the changes that we requested?
Yes, that
Okay.
was prior to the last meeting.
Okay,
I don't think we
so,
ever saw those, did we?
no, I don't think so.
That was supplied at the March meting. And we were waiting for
I
comments from
thought-
town attorney.
There were some comments Diana made about, some of the language was unacceptable in terms of enforceability and things that we wanted
Yeah.
to prohibit. And they didn't like, and I thought we went back to them with that.
Well, I thought, Tim, that you collected comments from all of us and submitted
Correct.
those to them after the March meeting.
Yes.
So what happened after that? Did they get back to you with any comments on our comments?
Other than they recognized that they had received them, they and wanted to get feedback from Attorney Piers before revision. So that's
Oh, okay.
collectively trying to sort out how to incorporate all. I think I had 4 commissioners' comments. I had staff condense those, provide them to the applicant and town attorney as a condensed form, and say we have to work this out based on everyone's revisions.
So you're meeting with Pierce tomorrow?
I have a phone call with his colleague Megan. Correct.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully this is ironed out before the May meeting.
Okay, so you're gonna discuss with her their comments and how they might be meshed with our comments and then come up with some sort of final document that we would review for the next meeting.
Correct. I'd like to get come out with a clean version, a non-redline version to present to the commission, so we're not looking at, overlapping red lines, and then we could work from there.
It might be helpful if we got a red line of what their final proposal is.
I think that was the issue we had at the last meeting. It was way too many red lines. Nobody knew what's going on. I think Tim is correct. Once you get comments from both council, town council and their council, give us a final document for us to review that we can then ourselves and the subcommission and look at and see how comfortable they are with it. But I will want to say that the subcommittee was there to get information for the entire committee with the idea that we're going to start implementing model conservation easement. It is not the end all be all. I never thought it should be that way. And now I'm uncomfortable where we start stepping into the shoes as we are the council. Attorneys, we're not. We are a volunteer group that are not specialists in this. That's why applicants have counsel. And when I say counsel, I mean attorneys. And that's why the town attorney gets involved in these things. So I applaud all the efforts that are there. And I think once we have the model, then council can do their work and negotiate, and then we can either approve or not approve. And that's really the basis of what we can do. I've already had at least one communication from somebody who has stated that some of the language in that they've seen could prompt a takings clause lawsuit, meaning the Constitution of the United States, governments cannot do anything that takes property away from people without due compensation. And I'm not sure what they were going to show me, but I said, well, whatever it is, just bring it up at a meeting. Don't tell me directly. So I just don't want it to get, I don't want to say out of hand. I just wanted to understand that we have language, we're going to do a model, and then that's what the applicants then can use as guidance, but not the end all be all.
Yeah, but I don't, just to defend the opinion, I don't think they were trying to attorneys. I just think that the last version that we got from the applicant's attorney was just a whole giant red line thing. It's
Yes.
like completely unintelligible.
That one.
And I think that
For 980 you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this whole exercise has been very helpful, and as we sit at the next discussion, we'll discuss why it's been helpful.
Yeah.
But the whole exercise has been very helpful. We made a lot of progress. I think Diane has done a tremendous amount of work. Obviously, we want council's input and we're valuable, but I think the commission also has to on the whole.
Starts with us, then they tweak it, and then it comes back to us.
And then as far as the taking, that's why we have council. We don't want to go. We're doing, we're using the model ordinance by the Connecticut Bar Association. I think we're very cognizant of having a very robust and defendable going forward document, which I think we may have been not had in the past.
As long as it's defendable and then we're not, and
Yeah.
council reviews it, then we should be in good shape. All right.
And it's just really a starting point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be applied to each individual situation. So it's not gonna be just a situation where we say, here, this is it, you have to sign it.
Right. But
It's gonna be a negotiation.
That's the key. I don't want, we can't have that. We can't say, take it or leave it. It's gotta be a.
Right, and taking the bigger overview, I think it just highlights that this whole thing with conservation is bigger than we originally envisioned.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of, you can see how much work it takes on an individual property, and I think doing it this way gives a lot more thought into it, and that we don't just reserve land for no reason.
Yeah, no, excellent. So good. All right, Tim, we'll follow up for the next meeting after you talk with town council and everybody else. Attorney Leclerc. All right, so moving on to old business number 3. That's 987 Banks Road North Conservation Easement. And we have with us today, Mr. Carey, and I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You don't know me, so that's fine. Adam Blank, of the attorney. Emma Tignani, one of my colleagues, had been here once or twice.
Very nice. Nice to meet you.
From out of Texas? No, okay.
Stanford, but it felt like Texas getting up.
I saw some correspondence with somebody in Texas.
Stanford, is that Wapsie?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I'm just
I just wanted, before, maybe we just say that we did do a site walk of this
Oh,
property.
yeah, sure.
And I think I was there, Diane, you were chairman,
Yep, and Rick,
Peter
and Kate.
Hey, yeah.
So we did do a site walk and you were with us, so, yeah, okay, very good.
So I was just gonna say that, thank you for coming to the site walk last Wednesday afternoon. We got to tour both the properties. So just a little background on the issue. There is an existing notice of violation against the property for the garden that the commission did take a tour of. For
inland wetlands.
inland wetland violation, but also there's a conservation easement encroachment. So we're kind of in that chicken and egg type of scenario right now. I did previously provide a memo back in March, February timeframe, kind of outlining the issue, which I think was pretty well shown in the field to kind of, because it is a unique situation, given that the garden that was constructed is really kind of an eco-friendly landscape. That's not a normal wetland violation, nor is it a normal encroachment into the wetlands. There was no ill intent on the applicant's part to cause any violation. But that being said, we're still left to deal with that. One of the things is we obviously can mitigate, since there's been no direct filling to the wetlands on the property based on our subsequent survey and flagging of the wetland resource. We do feel like we can mitigate any impacts, permanent or temporary impacts to wetlands, considering that the garden's been there for well over a decade, based on the aerial photos. So really what we're here tonight to ask is really for the commission's guidance on how to resolve the conservation easement. I think if there was no easement in place, it would have been a pretty straightforward request to the commission for a wetland permit, going location, kind of following the same path that we normally do to get structure permitted in the upland review area. What's stopping us from doing that is obviously the conservation easement, which you guys hold direct authority over, and what is the best way to mitigate that. So one of the things that we discussed on the property is that the property owner actually owns the parcel across the street at 990 Banks North Road, which for all intents and purposes, from a zoning perspective, does meet the definition of a building lot. Whether it's a building lot based on a wetland delineation and further septic investigation still needs to be completed. But the town is assessing this as a building lot, and from a zoning standpoint, it does meet the minimum requirements for a building lot. One of the ideas was that we've kind of pitched was to net out the area of the garden that is within the conservation easement on the property, and then apply that similar area over similar or larger area over the parcel across the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry if I jump.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, the entire conservation area is like 2.5 acres.
That's correct.
And the parcel across the street is a 2-acre parcel. So what's being, I guess, discussed is one possibility is taking just leaving the conservation area that currently exists in place in general, but removing from that conservation area the disturbed portion, carve out.
Net it out.
Right, or we're saying net it out. And then, so maybe that's 3/4 of an acre or so, and moving that 3/4 of an acre into a new conservation easement area, but it wouldn't be move the whole thing over.
Yeah, please.
So that being said, if the commission was open to that, we would prepare all the maps for the review, easement documents, and then basically come in, once that's satisfied, we'd come in with an after the fact wetland permit for the garden. There is obviously substantial value to that building lot across the street. So I don't think the intention is just to kind of give, it's substantial for a building lot over there. So I don't think the goal is to encumber that entire property into a easement at this time. That being said, there is precedence in the past of, noticing encroachments into easements that happen either willingly or by accident, where you do make a note onto, draft a new easement, you make a note on the easement that there is an encroachment. There is no net benefit to this there's really no net benefit to this, to the garden from a monetary sense for the land. It's not a house. It's not a, the encroachment is, while it's not allowed, it's also not causing a ecological issue, for that area. So that being said, I don't know if Adam has
Yeah,
anything
the
else.
only, one of the other issues or concerns, because I think in my view, you have two most plausible options here. One is to say we're comfortable with moving a portion of the conservation easement over to new land, and we'll end up with about the same as you had before. And our client the disturbed area will stay disturbed to some degree. The other option is we work out some type of remediation and we don't move the conservation easement area at all. But what we need to be a little bit have some understanding of from you folks as well is going to be what I think our client would have an issue with would be if you said, actually, we're comfortable with you moving the conservation easement area over, and let's just move 3/4 of an acre over there. But the area that you've disturbed, it's no longer going to be the conservation area. That's still in the upland review area. And we want you to wipe everything out over there. And we want you to bring it back to the natural state that it was in. Because if that's what you wanted, then there'd be no reason to do a conservation easement in a different location. And we think there's some harm that would come from doing that. But to be honest, we just need to know where your head's at on those issues.
Okay, well then let's start with Commissioner, starting with Commissioner Hood. What's your thoughts?
So how would the choice be made where you would position this mapped area across the street? You come to 3/4 an acre, how are you deciding where to position that?
It would be, there's some wetlands there.
Yeah.
It would be the wetlands, and then we'd move from that to the upland review till we got to about 3/4 of an acre. But with the key, and nothing sort of binding at this point, I think, on either side. Because if we go that route, we're gonna get it surveyed, we're gonna get it mapped, and we're gonna figure out like, is there even a building lot, like a practical building lot here? What is the area gonna be? And we're gonna come back in front of you with that.
I think when you originally came here last month, you showed that whole area, basically, so you're backing off of that.
Yeah, so that was kind of theoretical.
Let's cut to the chase here.
Not yet, Commissioner. I want all the other commissioners to have their.
Would you give me an acre?
Yeah.
So that's part of, first of all, we need to do a little bit more due diligence in the way of surveying and also delineating the wetlands on that property. There is a natural, when I say natural, there is a boundary line that's already exists on the 990 in the way of an old farm stone wall that's kind of there. From what I could see, and again, I didn't auger into the ground or take any samples. It looks like the wetlands probably extend a little bit beyond it in the northern part of it, but the rest of it probably does follow that wall down. Again, we would be looking to at least offset what has been disturbed on our property here, which is about 0.6 acres. So we'd have to do a little bit more due diligence.
But it's not, but I do think our client is not, in principle, I don't think is gonna have an issue with saying, if you want some more land and you want an acre, to make this
I
right.
just want it out there because
Right, I
that's what
think-
I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, I
just want you to put that out there.
That's the whole point of this.
That's not a deal breaker, and that would be something I think the client would say, how can we make that happen? I think the issue would only really come if we came back and said, it doesn't work because we can't even have, but now that's what gets us to lose the building lot.
Yeah, and again, for the first thing Adam said, Adam clarified too. Again, if we were just gonna go in there and remediate this and remove the encroachment, and I would just come in with a plan, present it to you. We wouldn't have to be in front of the Conservation Commission per se to develop that. We would just come in as a mediation and say, we're gonna solve this, but we don't think that behooves the commission. We don't think that behooves the applicant, the property owner.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think what you're proposing is practical. I understand that. I think in the 5 years that I've been here, this is the first time that I've been involved with something like basically making a deal, which is really what it comes down to, guys. And I agree with Commissioner Hood about the size of the the swapped parcel. So I think I can understand it, and I think I'm for it, as long as we identify what the trademark would be.
Yeah, and one of the things I said in my past, previous technical memo, which I think is, really is your oversight, but more of the inland wetlands part of the commission, is that we need to provide that there is no functional loss to the wetland resource and that it's being protected.
I think
And
that's the important part. Yeah. Because that could, quote thing, other people have come before us and tried to do that, and we always strike that down. We don't, but there has been damage done that can't be really fixed. This, I think, is just a smidge outside of that. So that would be my position on it. And why I think I'd be okay with it. I would get all the information. But generally, making a deal is not anything that we do.
yeah, understood.
Okay. Diane? Skip over me? No, you're last, I know.
So to me, it all sounds very reasonable, but I guess what I'm struggling with is the owner, the current owner put this easement on the property, and now that same person violated his own easement for
Absolutely.
years.
I think they will take ownership of that, and they need to.
Well, but I guess that's one point, which, we could get over that, but I guess my other concern is setting a precedent that people can just do whatever they want. And great, there was no damage to the wetland, but it's the conservation easement. So they violated what they agreed to begin with. And now we're just gonna say, oh, okay, that's okay. Give us something else. I really have a problem with that.
That's fair. That's fair.
On the other hand, I would be sort of uncomfortable saying, well, rip out all those beautiful gardens.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where,
This is a unique
but I'm really
situation.
concerned about the precedent
Because
because
it's not Norwood either, right? Norwood had a conservation easement, and that was just almost 5 years of nothing.
Right.
So at least the applicant is stepping up and not being belligerent either.
well, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and I'll one thing I'll just say, I don't disagree with anything that you've said, other than two tiny points. One, probably, I know like the ZBA, if you've ever seen them, they're always like, oh, we don't want to set a precedent. We don't want to set a precedent with this variance that we're going to grant. And like legally, there's no such thing. Like that's not actually true, but I know people get concerned about it. So I recognize that you can be concerned about it. The other point that I'll just make is that, sometimes people, violate the rule, like better ask for forgiveness than permission because there's an advantage to them and they'll get a benefit, and it actually sort of harms the other side by doing it that way. What I think we're proposing here is to actually provide more conservation land than you have now, to protect more sensitive area than is protected now, which is certainly in your purview and what I think is a goal of yours. So there is a win for you that you don't currently have. Certainly there's a win for our client in not ripping up his sort of beautiful garden, but you benefit from this. So your choice is either, I think it's your choice is we can take the benefit and get something more than we have now, or we can sort of make the town suffer and we'll be worse off, but we're going to punish the guy that did a wrong to show him that he did a wrong. And I'm not,
We're here.
I would point out, we've had,
So-
this is the
Yeah,
third
I find myself on,
couple of years. It's not unusual. I think Diane's point about setting a precedent, this is the third one in 2 years, and the other two were pretty bad.
Yeah.
They were not like this.
no, yeah, I find myself on the same position as Diane. This is a person who knowingly violated the easement that he signed. And it sounds like after you spoke, counsel, it really does sound like better ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So I had this proposal come from the commission before doing the works and not after. It would have been a different story, but I feel a little uncomfortable in having there was already a deal. And the deal was that the easement was to be respected, and your client broke the deal and now is proposing a better deal for us. I just don't buy into this way of thinking.
Okay, that's fair. Commissioner Finn.
So I think we can have our cake and eat it too. Make everybody happy on this one. I think there's an opportunity here. The opportunity is not to eliminate the conservation easement. The wording of the conservation easement allows us broad latitude on the activities that we could allow within that area. I think that the prior conservation easement, as we've seen in the past, did not allow us a lot of enforcement. Was poorly written and the intent wasn't poorly extended. I think we could take what we have now, apply new language to the existing conservation easement that tightens that all up and allows some, if not all, of the activities to remain over there. I would like to see the bamboo removed, and I think there isn't a lot of it, but that just to me is kind of smacks of the idea of the conservation easement. Other than that, it seems like there's the water feature there provides a lot of opportunity for wildlife there. There's plantings in there for wildlife. There could be additional plantings. The only structure there was a boardwalk, which you've seen in other conservation areas. So I think that we could work with the.
How do you feel about the?
I think one, we get that straightened out, and then as partial mitigation, we talk about the additional lands on the other side of the. So we have our cake and we eat it too. I think we can make everybody happy here, come to a great compromise, and move forward. That would be my recommendation, suggestion.
You're just getting information from us tonight anyways, right?
Yeah, so what I really need is just a willingness to, because obviously there's time and obviously money associated with the next step, which is to go out and flag the wetland across the street and survey that property to determine really determine the baseline of that property and where we could place an easement that wouldn't necessarily jeopardize the future development.
I looked at the property, the property, there's a meadow and there's a stone wall, and behind the stone wall is pretty much all wetlands. What you're saying is mostly we're gonna get wetlands.
So I don't know yet.
So you kind of said, Brian
we're not gonna give you-
showed us that map and said that was what we were getting. That was the entire field. So we're not getting that. So let's cut to the chase. So if we can get straightened out with the easement on the other side, you guys can figure out what you want and bring it to us in, whatever way, shape, or form. You can do whatever amount of work you want to do. Obviously, we have the wetlands already. That's not going to do us, we're not developing the wetland. You want to keep that as a building lot. It sounds very strongly, you guys could work that out and come back to that, but I think we have a framework to work with.
And I don't want to make this sound like we're like hashing out a deal here. The thing is, the thing is, I can't, it's a chicken and egg thing. So in order to advise someone where there's money at stake, obviously there's funds at stake, we do need input from the commission, so. No,
Okay, I'm trying to. Tim, is he there? Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay. Is it possible, and I'm looking through the book here on the rules, can we do a informal vote? I've seen it done in Westport.
It's a sense of the commission.
Yeah, to get, so.
Sense of the body.
Yeah, so I don't know where it is in here. I know I've seen it
We
before.
could just ask, we don't have to have a vote, we could just opine and they can move forward on that.
Should we be discussing that though? No, I think that kind of sending, you signal that it's tantamount to a vote.
Yeah, but it's not a real vote. You can change it at any point in time, so it's not recorded in any way. So I guess I'll start and see how you guys feel and you can chime in. If it were to come before us that your applicant would file a get the inland wetlands application in and do the things that need to be done on the wetland side. And remove some invasives and do certain things that might need to be done based on those recommendations. And there's at least an acre on the other side, I would be in favor of that. And that, if somebody feels
So
similar.
you are talking about more than, I thought it was 3/4, but I heard you a minute ago say 0.6 something.
So what I can do is,
I'm kind of set on the acre too.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't take away any opportunity for the client to build.
so what I can do is I can basically, obviously, with council and go back to the applicant as well, once we have more field data, which we just discussed. I mean, I feel comfortable with the discussion now and that I can come in with alternatives to show the commission about the ways to resolve this, whether or not we amend the existing easement to allow the encroachment, whether or not we amend the easement to net out this easement and move it across the street. I mean, I can show you different scenarios. All which will end up with the net benefit of not having to remove this once we get a wetland permit, if that makes sense.
I just so you know, I would not be in favor of amending taking any of that conservation easement off. I think we can work with what we have there, but I don't want to start horse trading with everybody in town on conservation easement.
Understood.
I would envision something along the lines, council, of it would be some sort of document recorded that's saying there's a violation that's been acknowledged. It'll remain so, but the easement that's in place will remain. Maybe even add some tightening up language for the current existing easement, and then the new easement on the other side.
The ridge in particular in Fairfield has a lot of that, because when they did the survey with the way the easements were cut. Wasn't really done very well.
And you're familiar with what I'm.
But I think that the two of them would stand alone. The new easement would be completely standalone, wouldn't be tied to this one at all.
No, that would be, because that would be a separate lot, so you wouldn't want it to
exactly.
be. Yeah. Any, commissioners, please.
Well, tonight,
Any-
you've got a good feel of 4 out of the 6 that you're with. And I
there's two on
think
here.
to develop that, pardon me? To develop that further and come back more specifically is the way.
That's fine. It's fair.
Would any of the commissioners like to speak?
I agree with what Jay was talking about.
Yeah, okay.
It seems like a reasonable proposal.
Well, then, balls in your court,
Yep.
some alternatives or some.
I appreciate the direction.
That's right.
And I would point out that the documents we got so far were very well laid out.
Right.
Just want to keep pointing that out.
I think there's effort on both sides, guys. We're not here to say.
Yeah.
No,
Understood.
yeah, there's effort on both
I
sides.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Great.
council. Excellent. Number 4, Earth Day 2026. Well, today is Earth Day.
Yeah.
So wonderful that we're on this today. Do you have any, whose is that? Brian, is that yours?
Uh-oh.
Me too.
I'd like to see Tim again. There he is.
I'm still here.
All right.
Me
So,
too.
Tim, you got anything on Earth Day 2026? Is that the one at the Y?
Yeah, that's the one at the Y. We'll reconnect with Mary Hogue. I do have the banner and some signage that you've used in the past at the table. So I could get to one of you before Saturday.
Me
I just
too.
wanted to put it on there if there was a discussion necessary for coordinating logistics of the table.
that
Well,
we're in.
I have a lot of stuff and I have
Yeah.
tables,
Okay, so we'll, just like we've done in years past, whoever, feel free to come if you'd like. If we can, we were inside with Dabney last year. I mean, that, if they can do that, if it's gonna be the same, that's nice. And I think, Commissioner Boucher might do some birdhouses. I don't know if we have any bat boxes.
Yeah.
We did that one year. I don't know if there's anything like
I
that.
have a couple in the shop if you
Yeah,
want.
if you got one of them, you know, at least we can
display it,
display it and maybe,
teach people about, that's
yeah,
cool.
so that'd be nice to have. Okay.
Because
good.
we have some graphics for that anyways,
Yeah,
that we were talking about a couple of years ago when you were first
Yeah.
installing them.
right. Any other thoughts, folks? Anything? No?
Could you just remind me what the schedule on Saturday, right?
It's a Saturday morning, couple hours, 4 hours, something like that.
It's like 10 till
10,
noonish or
yeah,
something.
something like
An
that.
event outside.
Yeah. If it's nice, it's outside. If it's not, it's inside.
And the thing of it is, we're there, so that makes it fun.
Yeah. Yes, no, it's good time. All right. Yeah, I don't think we need to vote on that. We're just gonna do it. So, okay, thank you. All right, number 5 in old business is discussion of the 2019 rules and regulations.
That was an artifact left over from the last agenda. I don't know if it needs to be revisited again. I know at some
Oh,
point.
The way I brought that up is we were talking about, access and things. For different open spaces and there is rules and regulations for open space contained in that document. And if we need to add further clarification or add more information, that's the document we should be looking into amending for those type of things. That's why I brought it up. It doesn't have to be on the agenda again, but we had talked about, certainly
Okay.
we don't want to have people having private entrances to our open space, and if we need to define that or we need to further clarify that, we'll put it in our regulations.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Moving on to number 6, the NFWF Tree Limb Grant application for Riverside Drive Todd Gates projects.
I provided in your packet a document that I worked with Andrea, our grant manager, on for a NIFWF grant for National Coastal Resiliency Fund. The document's just a pre-approval. So if this is attractive, it's kind of like a pre-application. If this is attractive enough, then we get invited to continue and complete a full application. The requested amount, as you can see, is just under 1.5 million. This is a multi-million-dollar project on our open space that's already in design. So since it checked a lot of boxes, we thought maybe we would be able to be attractive enough to acquire some funds. Of that 1.466 million, there would be a $700,000 match. But it is already funded and was approved by all the boards, including the RTM. I recall the project at about 3 or 4 million, like I said. This is on open space along Riverside Drive, not just south of the recently completed Riverside Drive Tide Gate replacement project. In this berm, if you're familiar with the area, it does connect to Ash Creek and the Penfield Mills open space. Right now, there's one tide gate we're looking at going. Yes, yep. And the one tide gate with the turbulent silo will be removed and replaced with at least another tide gate, probably plus a sluice gate, as we've been doing at other locations for added capacity. So I just wanted to provide and let the commission know that we're any attempts we can make to financially support projects within the department on the commission's behalf, or we're taking where we can.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner? Oh, okay. Roman numeral 7, open space land acquisitions. Number 1, update 561 Center Street. Donation approved by Planning and Zoning Commission on April 14th, 2026, and scheduled for discussion before the Land Acquisition Commission on April 28th, 2026. I think that's self-explanatory, Tim, unless you want to add anything. Nope.
Yeah, that's this commission approved it back in March. So it's making its way through the other commissions for approval and then eventually the other town boards. So it's a small piece. And I bring it up also is because some of you may have seen the article I circulated where this got some attention from the Fairfield Patch, who published it the next day. I think reporter was attending the P&Z meeting, so just highlights that is some interest in what we're doing collectively and as far as preservation of land. So yeah, that's all. I'll keep the commission posted.
Excellent, thank you. And number 2, the current acquisition frequency rate is 2.55 months per parcel, which is still incredible that it's under 3. So that's it's good. Excellent. All right.
Thank you.
There are no bills and communications, and Roman 9 is legal enforcement actions. Number 1 is an update on 42 Anvil Road. Survey provided by Attorney Chris Russo for review and discussion as it relates to the conservation easement and unauthorized regulated activities completed within a regulated area of inland wetlands. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Tim?
Yes, I did provide that drawing, which we didn't have the last time this violation came before this commission as it relates to the easement. Separately, the agency, Wetlands Agency, has seen this as well, but Sarah and I did meet and discuss this drawing. Engineering has looked at it as well. I did provide some comments to Attorney Russo this afternoon via email, and let him know that I will generate a memo to both this commission and the agency with those comments. It will need an after the fact permit, and you know, the site plan points out, as it relates to the easement, which is granted to the town, that the batting cage in the back and the maintenance of property and lawn that is not this does not belong to the owner, is being maintained. So
do we give a violation to Southport Ridge?
Not yet. But I think the removal of the cage needs to be executed as it relates to the easement.
It doesn't seem like this. I assume this property owner built it on somebody else's property.
Correct.
So they don't seem to have much of an argument to keep it. I guess they have an argument whether they want to remove it because they don't have to pay for it. But there shouldn't be any argument about them wanting to maintain it.
Correct. It looks mobile. It should be. I don't think it has footings, anything poured footings or anything permanent. So, it shouldn't be an issue.
Well, I looked at there. It's a substantial improvement on somebody else's property. So,
Do we know how long it's been there?
Yeah, I went back in aerials today. It looks like it's somewhere around this property owner bought the house in 2006. It looks like this happened around 2012, with some tree clearing in the easement, again, which is off the property.
They were close but no
Um,
cigar.
and-
15 years for adverse possession. So they wouldn't have been able to do it
I
anyways.
don't know if they want to go that road anyway.
They wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. So that'll be moving forward in the agency, and the commission will see a memo the next time we meet.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Number 2 is an update on 361 Cross Highway, legal action in progress related to conservation easements and unauthorized regulated activities completed within a regulated area of inland wetland. So that's just continuing, Tim?
Yes, continued.
Okay.
Nothing new.
Yep. Number 3 is an update on 30 Laurel Brook Lane, a site restoration plan provided by Matt Pop for review and discussion as it relates to the conservation easement and authorize regulated activities completed within the regulated area of inland wetlands and water courses. Hello.
Hello. I'm Matthew Pop, landscape architect, professional wetland scientist. Good to be back. It's been a while. I prepared this plan a while back.
Yeah.
And I think right now the site is still as it was approximately a year ago. So just some you can kind of set it and bring it a computer to put on the screen, but conservation easement goes fairly close to the house on one part. It's probably like 5 feet away from the house. I think that might be a problem in the future. But on the to the east of the house,
Did we see this one before, like for a swap?
no, not a lot, not in the last year or so.
There's another one that for some it looks similar, like they're trying to swap, and I don't know if it was it or not.
Not swapping here. Again, house here, driveway here. Conservation easement kind of wraps all the way around, right? 2 water courses that kind of connect here, flow down this way, so it's a little wetland adjacent to them. So currently, there's a lawn area here and over here. There's a small retaining wall built in this area here. To get access over here, there was actually a bridge put in for vehicles, the small vehicles. So what I was proposing to do is mainly try to get that lawn area and maintain areas outside of the conservation easement area. So this lawn area here and this would just stop from being cut. It would be cut once a year in the winter time, late winter. There'd be just a small path if they wanted it, just to have access around it. We did have 12 trees and I think there's about 55 shrubs planted. Actually, the plant list is wrong. It only had 9 trees, but there's actually 12 of them. Here is where the conservation easement is very, very close to the house. I think that might be a long-term problem. I don't know if there's a way to change that, maybe the easement. There's lawn here, so lawn is allowed to, it's just any wall, just so that they can get along around the house. There's a playground here, kind of this area here, the playground will get and put over here. So the main thing is just to get the maintained landscaped areas outside of the conservation easement. And probably could be start tomorrow.
Well, this is a wetland violation also?
Yes. Yeah.
So you'll come back to us for wetland?
Yeah, I think we could do that. Yep. The one
I
thing.
don't know, Tim, are we got this wetland violation, they have to file for a permit and come back to it?
Yeah, they will. I think my conversations with Matt were to let's make sure the easement portion of the conflict, I'll call it, was okay with the commission before they filed for corrective action with the agency.
The main thing I would say within the wetland, we have that crossing here. I think we need to get that kind of permitted.
Did you have an engineer look at it? Is it properly sized or?
No, we didn't, but that would probably be part of it. Yeah. It looks, stable.
What is it?
Yeah, what is it?
I think there's 2 concrete pipes. They're fairly large.
Instead of putting a little bridge?
There's a crossing that goes right across it. Yeah, it does.
Well, would they consider taking the pipes out and put a little bridge or
Maybe, yeah, that might be, yeah.
Yeah, so
That would be an option.
I don't personally, I don't want to speak for anybody else. I
Yeah,
don't have a problem with the crossing concept, but I like to do it as environmentally sensitive as well.
and then you don't have to worry about anything getting stuck blocking it in the future.
And it's just earth, it's not a bridge on top of it, concrete.
No, there is a bridge, like you could drive like a lawnmower across it.
Yeah, culvert.
Yeah. What it says there, yeah. Okay.
But in the meantime, I think they could, before we get the permit, just, stop maintaining.
The maintaining, yeah, that would be nice.
Actually, I was out there today and it's a really nice lawn, which.
And then you would, you gonna plug it lawn or just let it go back?
Just let it go back.
So what is it, bluegrass or fescue?
Yeah, fescue. It's somewhat shady.
Okay.
All right.
This is not a vote.
Well, I think it's just showing us that they're now gonna be complying. Is that right, Tim? That by doing this, they are now no longer having an issue with the conservation. Is that what?
Yeah, as far as the conservation easement goes, correct.
Until we
And
get,
then,
say, all the playground out and,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
well, I mean, I guess that wouldn't know for some months, right, for that to grow up. So, I mean, do we want to keep it on here and revisit it in 2 or 3 months? Or do you want it to say that they've complied?
It's gonna be an IWWA.
Yeah, it's gonna be in
application, so
front of us
we'll
anyways.
revisit. I want to go walk the site anyways. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, so.
Okay.
Keep it on.
Okay, so let's just keep it on, but we have progress and their representative, thank you, Mr. Pop, saying that
Cooperation.
that they're gonna be doing something. Oh, very good. Excellent.
And I think we'll come back, they'll talk about maybe getting rid of the pipes.
Yeah, I mean, something that, what, it just wasn't ad hoc, something sensitive.
It's fairly well built. So when you go out there, you can like.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. We are moving on to Roman numeral 10 staff report. Number 1 is the Aquarium Award. I'm sorry, the Aquarium Award.
yes, I included that in your packets. This is just informative, but since it was addressed to the commission, I wanted to share that with you, actually addressed to Mr. Chairman. And it's related to a $5,000 grant. You have to nominate and go through the application process. If there was any interest in any of the commissioners doing so.
Well, it's just, this is more for us to spread the word for them. Is it possible to, I don't know, I mean, it's a couple weeks away, but it's possible to scan it and put it on our website of some sort, or have a link or something? I don't know.
Sure, could do that.
Sure. Temporary link, and I mean, it shows that it's for businesses, nonprofit organizations, or any adult for $5,000, but it's also for students at $1,000.
Nice.
Maybe we can send it to the Board of Ed and spread the word that way. And maybe to our Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts that come periodically in front of us.
Not a problem. Could do that tomorrow.
Any other thoughts, commissioners, on spreading the word that way? No? Okay. All right, what's nice. All right. Moving on to number 2, under staff reports, miscellaneous reports. A is conservation conversations at the Connecticut Audubon's Birdcraft Museum on April 16th, 20. Tim.
That I just wanted to let the commission know, if you hadn't heard. I was invited to be a part of their conservation conversation series as a guest speaker last week, which went very well. I think it was well attended, and highlight the attendance by Commissioner Boucher and Commissioner Saunders. They could speak and comment as well. I thought it was information well received about what the department does, and the commission does on a whole, and also highlighted the NRI that was approved tonight. So I think the public that were there were all interested and excited to learn a lot. Talked about 90 minutes, and I think it went well.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just want to say that it was, I attended almost for the whole thing. And it was extremely well done, Tim. It was very unique. You had the ability to go from some scientific terminology of plants to saying, geez, I don't know. So it was very professional. You've been very casual. You presented all the no, I'm serious, all the opportunities that you've brought to the town through the Conservation Commission. And I think most people there were amazed. So I think it was an excellent evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to Roman numeral 11, other, number 1. Complaint by Christine and Charles Linford of 634 Bronson Road regarding Mill Hollow open space. Okay.
Thank you for allowing us to speak again.
Sure.
Get to the beginning. Oops. Oh, sorry. The Mill Hollow open space has resembled a construction site for over a year. Continued use of orange construction fencing in a natural open space to create a path and meadow is unnecessarily hard, especially for this length of time with no end in sight. Comparing Mill Hollow and Hoyden's Hill, similar meadow restoration projects. As you can see, Hoyden's Hill looked beautiful with flowers and meadows within a few months. And now it's already growing again for the next season without a fence. Mill Hollow has had 2 orange fences installed over the past year, both left falling down and looking unsightly for periods of time. Besides the 7 deciduous trees that were planted that look pretty now, not much else has been established besides the lawn. Mill Hollow is in a residential neighborhood and has a lot more visibility than Hoyden's Hill. So we're just so curious as to why it looks so much worse. At Jennings Beach, dune fencing was deliberately used to fence rare vegetation because it fit in with the landscape better. Black mesh fencing, not orange, was also used. Why was the same consideration not given at Mill Hollow open space to preserve its natural and undeveloped landscape? Stamford is using signage for their meadow restoration project at Mill River Park. This Stamford Park sees more people and dog traffic than Mill Hollow. Yet Stamford is not using orange fencing to keep people or dogs on the path. They're using signage. When the Mill Hollow plan was initially described 2 years ago, it sounded like a good plan. I would have been here if I didn't think it was. But what actually has been done is different from what was originally proposed. Paths to the river, a path to the bench in William Kenny's mentioned design instead became a very large open space. The plan described creating a path to the water and trails rather than a wide open entrance. Yet the new layout is reversed. So it's an entrance path that leads into a wide open space directly adjacent to the riverbank. Creating this large open space adjacent to the river seems hypocritical of a riparian buffer. So our question is, when will the riverbank be restored with native plants? Right now, mugwort, garlic mustard, and other invasives are taking over. A second orange fence did not need to be installed last month. After 11 months, a more subtle approach could have been used. People got used to the path. So we would like an update on the plan, the timeline, when it will be completed, and we would like the orange fence removed. And is there a permanent fence in the long-term plan? That's our question as well. That's concerning to us that we would restrict the movement of wildlife and push deers and other wildlife up into the road. So that's really all I have to say. I have some neighbors with me who are also concerned. I could have got a petition, I could have canvassed everything, but I'm not gonna do that because I know that you feel that what we're saying is reasonable.
Okay. We'll start with Tim and then we'll go from there.
Thank you. I'm happy to address those questions one by one. Hoyden's Hill is nothing. You're correct. Hoyden's Hill is nothing like Mill Hollow open space. Based on location or acreage or foot traffic, or anything like that. That was a 65-acre parcel is nothing like the lawn to meadow conversion we're talking about. So I don't even think they could be compared to in the same breath as far as approach. Yesterday I met with former Commissioner Rosenthal, who's a landscape architect. We walked the site, who was also involved in the original design. After that drawing was developed by Bill Kenny, who I retained. And we did observe some of the invasives that are there, but we also observed a lot of the plants that we had planted during the initial seeding and planting of plugs. A meadow is not, and if you do want to compare meadow restorations to between this and Hoyden's Hill, I will point out that Hoyden's Hill project, for its first growing season last year, was a 6-year project. So we're talking about one growing season here through a drought last summer. It is not going to look like any of the photos of bucolic meadows that you produce. So I'm sorry to that has not met your expectations as far as growing that fast. We anticipate, based on what we saw yesterday, additional success and of course long-term maintenance, but we are in the works, and she's developing a cost estimate and a planting plan to augment what was already installed. Both shrubs and plugs in the meadow and shrubs further down. The original plan also called for a phased approach. The meadow being the first phase, invasive removal of the Atlantis closest to the water was the second phase, but that became accelerated due to the agreement to plant the tree for First Selectman Gerber on short notice. So my staff worked to remove 100% of Atlantis and Asiatic bittersweet on the riverbank on short notice in the fall to get the trees in for the ceremony for Selectman Gerber. On the fence, I know your concern is with our open space, but I think 3 or 4 lots down, I'm not sure you've approached the home under construction to discuss the orange fence on their property, but
That's construction. That is actual.
You should know, this is actually very similar to construction. It's done gently as opposed to brutally when you're dealing with construction. This is just as much as an important and dangerous, if you will, because all the effort we put in, it's so much more delicate than, rocks and stones and pieces of wood.
Concrete.
So I don't want it to be that, oh, it's an orange fence and there's nothing there. There's something there, and I know that we're putting a lot of effort into it. But I did kind of on my own look up the orange fence because you brought it up last time. Why couldn't it be green or black? But it's serving the purpose. That color is there to psychologically deter people from going into that area. And I think the way that area is, a Stamford sign isn't going to work. And that orange fence would need to be there until it takes. That would be my position. Yeah.
Use other types
of fencing in other areas around town.
In Connecticut, the color exclusionary fencing is orange.
Yeah.
That's the color. It's chosen for that reason. And I would agree that Boyden's Hill is comparable in any way, and it is a
But it's
6-year
still- yeah,
project.
Right, I know, we've been talking about it.
People don't they don't go across the meadow the same way. Here, everyone can and they will. And the fences are there to keep jerks from doing
And
jerk things. And that's all there is to it.
do it, because that's why it's fallen down. you
Right.
know,
And you had a I know it was, last year was one season and I watched it and it was a drought. There was just no way, Nicole spoke about that last year. She said it's been tough, if not impossible. There just hasn't been any water.
Right.
So I know that their results were not really what they had wanted or even hoped for.
Well, we also, when an applicant comes in front of us, right, one of the things that we would do is when there's a planting plan, is ask them to put up a bond. You know,
Yeah.
so, because we know
Yeah.
that sometimes, you know, with all good intentions, but sometimes it just doesn't take. So we force applicants to put up money in the event that the plants that they have bought that are put in the season before don't take. And we do that to ourselves as well. So it's our open space and we need to do that.
And Tim, I even asked, we talked about it once at Boyden's Hill. It's like, I'm there all the time and I'm like, I thought this was gonna be done and unfortunately it was the weather and they had a lot of trouble they had to keep clearing it and it just wasn't taking and that's been a good example. It's been a tough project.
I just want to say, excuse me, that I know the property very well. My grandson and I walk it to pick up trash. I know it extremely well. It's not long-term plan for the conservation department to have that there. But it's necessary because it is a construction site. And as soon as that can be removed, I'm confident that Tim and Tom will remove it and make it as nice as the rest of the property is.
I have a little different outlook. I think these people are constituents. They came in with a reasonable request. I'm very supportive of the staff. I'm a conservation and restoration ecologist. I'm certified in it. I've worked on this. Restoration is an ongoing process. It's never complete. It's meadow establishment. It's a art more than a science. It could take a long time, but I think whatever we can do, accommodate a reasonable request, which I think is a reasonable request. It's been there a while. It isn't aesthetically pleasing. And I think there's other things we can use. I would certainly like to accommodate this request. I think it's reasonable. I'm a reasonable people. I'm very supportive of the commission, but I think I drive by there every day. Tim's doing a great job. This is no reflection on Tom or Tim. They're doing a fantastic job. 100% effort, but I think we can work this out. This doesn't seem to have to be a dig in their heels thing. I think we can come to some reasonable solution between
What would you
reasonable people.
propose, Jay? What would
I don't
be-
know, whatever we can.
So let me ask you this. So is the color orange? So because I think what you said is very reasonable. Is the color orange your biggest concern?
So the color orange in that natural environment is horrific. Orange is actually my favorite color and yellow ochre.
And are we bound to use orange for?
I think we can use,
Other colors?
I think, whatever, Tom, we can use a combination of a green fence or a black fence or a string or a post or, the sign,
I love
whatever we.
And I really don't think that people are that, I actually saw a dog inside the fence, the new fence the other day. And I'm like, okay, there's always one, but there's one or two. Like the way we're talking about people vandalizing, that's not what's happening. It's Mother Nature. I watched Mother Nature and North Wind blow that entire fence down multiple times. And then we look at it all haphazard and dilapidated, and it's just so not
would just like
bucolic,
to,
not appealing, not natural.
Whatever we can do to work together as a community and make something that I would be, I'm sure there's a million different solutions.
So going forward, are we talking about fencing?
There were plugs.
I don't think that's the intent. Maybe I don't know what Tim, what would you use as your final demarcation? Stones in the grass or something? The split rail fence? What do you?
There won't be any, but it's the intent is to have an upland high grass meadow with the path maintained. There won't
The mowing path?
be any fencing in there. Just a mowed path that is currently delineated by the fence while we work on the inside.
Fencing was to keep the dogs and people from the plugs, which they could be trampled. So I'm sorry, I would totally disagree that a fence is not necessary.
I didn't say a fence.
Pretty hard and
I
fast.
think we can
I got
come to accommodate.
Yes.
And I think the reasonable people always can come up with a reasonable. And
I
thank you very much for the input.
I appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll put it on for the next month as well. Just we'll keep discussing.
Maybe we can set up an office.
Yeah.
Then we would be okay to sit down and have an offline meeting?
That would be great.
Yeah, I'm open to the public.
Great, thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Contact us or should I?
Thank you. And if I can help,
You'll contact us?
Tim,
Well, you can't.
probably best,
So, yeah.
Tim, you'll contact us?
Tim has your contact information?
I won't. I will. You could contact my office with your availability, and I'll accommodate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. But I will say that at the end of the day, I think all of us will be happy with the result.
I don't
So-
disagree
so I-
with that.
It's just a question about, nobody can influence Mother Nature, but what is your estimated timeline? Tim, how long does it typically take to achieve the goal that you, and the vision that you have? Wherever you are.
Everywhere.
Well, I would like to get flowers in the ground. Like I said, I'm working now that we're in growing season, working with Miss Rosenthal to place an order. We discussed budget today. Her proposed plant list was exceeding my budget, so that was what we need to revise. But the intent is to get in the next few weeks get Boy Scouts who are eager to get some service hours in to get plugs in the ground, keep the deer out, and hope that we have a reasonable precipitation volume in the spring before the summer hits. So once the plants are established, as long as people don't destroy the work, then then see a much more successful and more results visually next growing season, and then beyond that, it's. Go ahead.
Again,
Once plants get established, though, do you keep a fence up for X period of time?
Once the plants are established, we're going to remove the fence.
Okay, great.
Yes.
That the fence is not there to stay. Obviously it's my job to manage open space, not have orange fencing and signs everywhere. So that'll be removed as soon as I can.
Right.
It's
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
managing
you very much,
1,300
guys.
acres with a lot of
For the
people.
information about the birds as well. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, he's your bird expert.
Yeah, very nice. Anything else by any other commissioners? Happy birthday to your daughter there, Tim.
Thank you.
Enjoy any hockey games anybody's watching. That's for 10.
Don't watch the Mets.
Thank you.
I